Russia's Ukraine war hurts China's relations with the EU. Avatar 2 on pace to beat Top Gun as 2020's biggest movie. Elon Musk becomes first person ever to lose $200 billion. Global economy faces tougher year in 2023. Croatia joins the EU Schengen zone. Venezuela and Colombia fully reopen shared border. Lula takes reign of Brazil. The world welcomes 2023.
Hello, I'm Johnny. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It's Tuesday, January 3rd, and here are your top stories. Chinese ambassador to the EU, Fu Cong, said in an interview with South China Morning Post on December 23rd, Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine has put Beijing in a very difficult position as it doesn't want to pick sides between Russia and Ukraine. The media said that the diplomat referred to the war initiated by Russia as a so-called special operation or Ukrainian crisis that has hurt China's relations with the EU, which he wants to depoliticize. Fu said, "We see ourselves as a collateral damage, if you like, of that crisis."
Invitation for the summit itself, the European Council chief Charles Michel had written of the need to discuss China in the present geopolitical context.
Fu Cong said the day after the Russian full-scale invasion had begun, a phone conversation was held between Chinese dictator Xi Jinping and Russian dictator Vladimir Putin. And during that conversation, Xi clearly advocated trying to seek a peaceful resolution. He said, "Both Russia and Ukraine are good friends, so we do not want to choose between friends." China hasn't expressed open criticism of Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine, though last November, Chinese dictator Xi condemned Russia's possible use of nuclear weapons.
According to an estimate made on January 1st, 2023, Disney's Avatar, The Way of Water, generated $63.4 million in the US and Canada over the first 3 days of New Year's weekend and has made $1.38 billion worldwide since its release on December 16th, 2022. The media reported that the sci-fi film is on track to surpass the $1.49 billion in sales for Paramount Global's Top Gun Maverick's puts, which puts The Way of Water on track for becoming the top-selling movie released in 2022.
I went to the studio and I said, let's not just do another movie. Let's swing for the fences.
The media reported that The Way of the Water, directed by James Cameron, is probably on course to at least break even financially. An accomplishment given its high production costs, which have been reported by various news outlets to be greater than $350 million. That bodes well for a series of sequels Disney has planned for the franchise through 2028. The Burbank, California entertainment giant acquired the rights to the James Cameron film as part of a $71 billion acquisition of 20th Century Fox in 2019.
Elon Musk was the second person ever to amass a personal fortune of more than $200 billion, breaching that threshold in January 2021, months after Jeff Bezos. The Tesla CEO has now achieved a first of his own, becoming the only person in history to erase $200 billion from their net worth. According to the Bloomberg Billionaires Index, Musk has seen his wealth plummet to $137 billion after Tesla shares tumbled in recent weeks, including an 11% drop on Tuesday, December 27th, 2022.
Elon Musk has raised the bar once again. While Tesla cars are famous for their magnificence and potential, this new engine is revamping the EV industry.
Musk's fortune peaked at $340 billion on November 4th, 2021, and he remained the world's richest person until he was overtaken last December by Bernard Arnault, the French tycoon behind luxury goods powerhouse LVMH. According to Bloomberg's Wealth Index, the decline in Tesla shares has been so steep as the shares fell 65% in 2022, and Musk has sold so much this year to help cover his Twitter purchase that they're no longer his biggest asset. Nevertheless, Musk's 42.2% of SpaceX is currently worth $44.8 billion.
IMF Managing Director Kristalina Georgieva said on Sunday that for much of the global economy, 2023 is going to be tougher than the year we leave behind, in part because the world's three biggest economies, the US, EU, and China, are all slowing down simultaneously. Georgieva said for the first time in 40 years, China's growth in 2022 is likely to be at or below global growth. Moreover, a bushfire of expected COVID infections there in the months ahead are likely to further hit its economy this year and drag on both regional and global growth.
Beyond this, where that is unsustainable, it should be restructured without delay.
Georgieva said, for the next couple of months, the impact on Chinese growth will be negative. The impact on the region will be negative. The impact on global growth will be negative. Her comment suggests another cut to both the China and global growth outlook may be in the offing later this month during the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Meanwhile, she said, the U.S. economy is standing apart and may avoid the outright contraction that is likely to afflict as much as a third of the world's economies.
Hello, I'm Peggy. Thank you for joining us on FUNDAY News. It is Monday, July 25th, and here are your top stories. Bloomberg reported that Australia is on high alert for foot-and-mouth disease in its cattle herds after traces of
用心生活，享受自由，学习，走自己的路。FUNDAY 英语。
Croatia reigning two historic changes with the new year as the European Union's youngest member joined both the EU's border-free Schengen zone and the Euro common currency, fulfilling long-standing ambitions of close integration with Europe. At the Brigana border crossing with neighboring Slovenia, police took down signs at midnight and a barrier was lifted up for the last time before a placard reading "Free Passage" was installed, symbolizing the end of border checks.
Croatia has officially adopted the euro as its currency, becoming the
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen hailed it as a day to celebrate. Later on Sunday, at a ceremony at the border attended by von der Leyen, Croatia's Prime Minister Andrej Plenković said, "If there are historical moments, special moments which should provide us with great honor, and when we witness the achievement of strategic goals of a state, this is such a day." They later toured the capital Zagreb, where they bought coffee in a cafe using euros, which replaced Croatia's kuna currency.
After Colombian President Gustavo Petro took office in August last year, tense relations between Venezuela and Colombia for years have eased. The two countries fully reopened their shared border on January 1st to allow passage of cargo and passenger transport via the cross-border Tienditas Bridge. Private vehicles started crossing between Colombia and Venezuela for the first time in years on Sunday, marking the total opening of the shared border, in addition to cargo and people that have been transiting.
In September, the two South American countries reopened their borders, crossing in the Táchira state of western Venezuela, after political ties strengthened under Colombia's new president, Gustavo Petro. Colombian authorities have said since September that the reopening of the shared 2,200-kilometer borders between the two countries would be progressive. Petro and his Venezuelan counterpart, Nicolás Maduro, appointed ambassadors in Caracas and Bogotá, respectively.
Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva was sworn in as Brazil's president on Sunday, delivering a searing indictment of far-right former leader Jair Bolsonaro and vowing a drastic change of course to rescue a nation plagued with hunger, poverty, and racism. In a speech to Congress after officially taking the reins of Latin America's biggest country, the left-leaning president said democracy was the true winner of the October presidential vote when he ousted Bolsonaro in the most fraught election of a generation.
Lula was behind bars during Bolsonaro's 2019 inauguration on graft conviction that were later overturned. Lula delivered a veiled threat to his predecessor while being sworn in by telling lawmakers democracy was the great victory in this election and the most abject campaign of lies and hate plotted to manipulate and embarrass the electorate. We do not carry any spirit of revenge against those who try to subjugate the nation to their personal and ideological designs, but we will guarantee the rule of law.
People across the world turn a new chapter of their lives as they bid farewell to the year 2022 and welcome a new year on Sunday, January 1st, with celebrations across the globe. 2022 was bittersweet and will be remembered for a lot of reasons, like the Russia-Ukraine war, the cost of living crisis, and the COVID pandemic. The past year will also be remembered for the white paper revolution as well as severe natural disasters. However, there were some happy moments as well, such as Argentina's World Cup win.
New Year's celebration kicked off in New Zealand as local marked the arrival of 2023 with a firework display in Auckland. Taiwan rang in 2023 with a firework extravaganza at Taipei 101, which included setting off 16,000 fireworks over the course of 5 minutes. Hong Kong held its biggest New Year's Eve celebration since 2019 with a multimedia show illuminating the sky to mark the beginning of 2023. The celebration at Thailand's Temple of Dawn featured a dazzling New York countdown firework display over the mighty Chao Phraya River.
FUNDAY News will help you sharpen your English skills and keep you informed about international current events. If you want to know more about our other programs and keep learning about the world's most important topics in English, please click the link in the description below to join FUNDAY for free. I'm Johnny Wu, your host. I'll see you next time.